what's your journey, each of you has been like? What inspired you, or that moment where you felt, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, not necessarily scoring music for games, but just scoring music. And then the second part is when, or has it always been scoring music for games, or did that come later?
That's the question.
Yeah. Again, I think this is where we divulge it somewhat.
Yeah. But quite different paths into where we are now.
Yeah. So my background was much more record based. Working with bands and artists and things as a producer. I have a real there's a jet flying overhead. I don't know if you can hear that. Walls are shaking. Yeah, so it took me to meet Ali, actually, to find like a passion for scoring for games. I'd always been like, I loved listening to the music while watching films. I loved listening to the music while playing games. And it was something that was always in the back of my head that I'd love to do. I think even in the records that I make, there's a real strong sense of kind of obsessed with trying to match the music with the lyrics and like build a narrative into the music behind the lyrics in my record stuff as well. So I've always been like kind of fixated on narrative and things that are happening behind the sort of the scenes of the lyric or the story, or whatever it is. But yeah, I met Ali at uni, and he was at this point working for the audio outsourcers that we were working for, so doing this thing, and I was like, "Can you get me a job at this place?" He was like, "No, sorry, man."
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
I had to ask a lot. We're not looking for anyone. We're not looking for anyone. Can you get me a job, yeah, man? Eventually, he did get me a job.
It was very swiftly after the first message that. But yeah, so as Frankie mentioned, I guess I found myself in the scoring world kind of a lot earlier. Yeah, it was always kind of something that I'd been really gravitated towards growing up was scores, was music for cinema, music for video games, music for and orchestral music as well. I just loved orchestral music, and I just love going to orchestral concerts, loads of orchestral records, and kind of really being fascinated by that art of telling a story with music without lyrics and instrumental music. So yeah, we both went to uni together, went to Leeds College of Music, and that kind of gave me an opportunity, certainly, to kind of really dive into the scoring element of the music that I was writing. And I got to uni and quickly realized that I was not. I'm a saxophone player, and I very quickly came to realize that I am not good enough to do that for my whole life. So I was like, I'm gonna just write. I'm gonna lock myself away and write music. But then kind of serendipitously fell into this job of being the in-house composer for this audio outsourcer, which gave me a real in with the games world. And I'd also been lucky enough at the time to work on a few big film scores and as part of the orchestration department, working with an amazing orchestrator called Nicholas Dodd, who really mentored me in terms of the orchestration side of things that I did. And then found myself writing for these video games, and then realized that, oh my God, there's so much breadth of opportunity within the games world, and the scores are really just like picking up in the quality, and you can do all the stuff that you want to do in film scores many times over within one game. There's so much music in these things, and the departments are so big, and there's so many opportunities. Add to that the interactivity that the music has to have, the fact that the music needs to behave and needs to change, and that extra layer of challenge, but opportunity there just absolutely fascinated me. So yeah, that was kind of my route into a very long-winded route into writing music for games.
It's interesting you said that, how you realized that you were not the best, but I think that happens to a lot of us until we get into the real world, that
Oh yeah.
there's people out there way better than us than we anticipated while we're living in our own little bubble. But that's that's just part of learning curve. I Do you guys have a favorite composer or soundtrack that you really dig towards? It could be a movie, it could be a game.
A favorite, goodness gracious. That's
Or top three. I know it's a tough question because if somebody asks me that, I won't have the answer either. So
I think our shared where we really meet is probably June
Yeah, we're
1 and 2.
absolutely blown away by those scores
Yeah.
recently. I think for me, I'm going to go towards recent stuff because I'm always changing. Like you said, I'm always changing what my favorite is. But the things that I've really enjoyed recently is the Jedi games. Gordy Harb and Stephen Barton's music to the Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, and then Jedi Survivor. I think the Mikos games is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how they did it. It's unbelievable. So that's really up there, yeah, with June. And then
I think my one, weirdly, I remember, what was it, last year or the year before? My Spotify Wrapped #1 track was the War Machines track from All Quiet on the Western Front.
yeah,
I absolutely love that score.
it's great.